This is a goldfish, and this is also a goldfish. Notice how different these two goldfishes are. One looks like a normal fish, while the other is a chubby chicken nugget that managed to swim. But believe it or not, these two are not the same kind. You will not find this chicken nugget in any rivers or lakes. But how can a goldfish that should look like a normal fish becomes a swimming dumpling? Are they some sort of lab-made alien fish? Or evolution gone cute? Welcome to Taj Mahal Aquatics, and today we are talking about how a fancy goldfish became, well, a fancy goldfish. And I'm gonna talk about everything from where these fish actually come from to how it become one of the most well-known fish in the hobby. Wanna know how fancy goldfish become a fancy goldfish? Let's talk about it, shall we? Alright, before we go deep to where these fish come from, let's clear this up first. Are fancy goldfish a real fish? Because, let's be honest here, they look too weird to be real. And the truth is, nope, fancy goldfish were never a natural species. You will not find them in the lakes or rivers, or even catch one, unless someone tossed them in the lake somehow. These fish are 100% man-made. It's a product of selective breeding and mutations. Think of them as designer dogs, but fish. So no, they are not natural, and you will not find them in rivers or lakes unless by accident. But that raises a big question. If they were nowhere to be found in the wild, where did they actually come from? Since they were never a real fish, you may wonder where these fish come from. Do they fall from outer space like an alien? Well, of course not. But to find the origin of this fish, we need to travel back in time to ancient China. It all started with a wild carp known as the Prussian carp. A carp that was far from amazing. These carps weren't pets before. They are dinner menu. But Mother Nature loves to give us surprise. And once in a while, there's carps that have mutations that make them appear with bright golden or reddish color. These color mutations makes them stand out, and when people notice, they thought, hey, let's keep this one as pets. So instead of being a dinner menu, these carps become pet fish. And soon people believe that these fish are a symbol of good luck and prosperity. So yeah, before fancy goldfish become a thing, it all started with wild carps become a pet. And this is where the story of fancy goldfish truly begins. Now that we know where they actually come from, here comes the next question. How did a normal-looking carp like this become something that looks like a swimming plush toy? It all comes down to selective breeding and mutations. When people noticed these carps have brighter and more colorful scales, they picked the prettiest and bred them over and over. And each generation gets cooler and flashier and also rounder. Started out as a simple idea of keeping the prettiest one and breed them over and over, turning this fish into a living art. But these goldfish still looks like the normal one, although they are a bit rounder. They were kinda like the version 1.0, until the era of Ming Dynasty, where everything changed. It all comes down to the Ming Dynasty era. The era where goldfish gets a massive evolution. This is the era where they went from normal carp to chubby chicken nugget goldfish. By this era, people began keeping goldfish indoors, where they no longer have to deal with the harsh conditions of outdoor ponds and predators. And because of this, they also experienced a body shape revolution. Breeders started selecting the fish that looked rounder, shorter, and fancier. And over time, we also get that iconic double tail that we know with goldfish, and the body becomes rounder until it becomes a swimming chicken nugget that we know today. And that's how we went from goldfish that used to be normal and hardy to a chubby swimming keychain plushie that lived to be an aquarium ornament. And no, they're not from outer space, but they came from selective breeding, in which we get a fancy goldfish that we know today. Okay, so now we know how we get these swimming chicken nuggets in the first place. But why would even people breed these kinds of goldfish? Easy. For aesthetics, of course. Everyone loves pretty things, and with goldfish is no exception. These fish are a perfect combo of colors, shapes, and movements. And breeders bred these kinds of fish, making them rounder and chubbier, with longer fins and also unique colorations. These fish are bred for elegance, and right now, we have over 200 fancy goldfish varieties, from majestic orandas to adorable chubby ranchus. And that's the reason why these fish were bred like this, so they can become an attractive aquarium fish. But when do these fish make it into the aquarium fish market? So, how did these fancy nuggets make their way into the aquarium fish market? It all started in Asia. These goldfish were traded and admired locally until the 1500s, where they finally began to travel outside of the Asian continent. And by the 1600s, these fish made their way to Europe and instantly became a sensation. And in Europe, they weren't just fish, but an aquarium jewel. And by the 1800s, goldfish finally reached the North American soil, in which they become a worldwide aquarium sensation. And that's the timeline of how these fish become a worldwide sensations. It all began in Asia, and then eventually they make their way across the world. But how is it going now? Fast forward to today, goldfish remains one of the most popular and loved fish in the fish keeping hobby. You can find them in almost every fish stores. And with over 200 varieties, they come in every colors and shapes you could have imagined. They may not be as tough as their wild ancestors, but at least they captured our hearts. Started out as a fish for dinner menu to become an aquarium sensation, fancy goldfish earned the spotlight as an aquarium legend. And I believe that they will remain a popular fish for decades to come. go, that's the amazing story of how fancy goldfish became, well, a fancy goldfish. From regular carps to swimming chicken nuggets, they've come a long way. And right now, they are one of the most popular aquarium fish you'll ever know. Sure, they are anything like a normal fish, and they are not as strong as their common cousins, but at least they captured our hearts and make a great aquarium fish for every one of us. And that wraps up this video. And what do you love so much about fancy goldfish? Comment below! And give this video a thumbs up if you like this video, and share this video to your friends that want to know more on how fancy goldfish become a fancy goldfish. Subscribe this channel if you want to see more fun fish content, as I can bring you more in the future. Thanks for watching my aquatic friends, and have a wonderful aquatic life. See you next time.